Beloved, for many years, one has been fascinated and intrigued by what we refer to as the human condition, which is fundamentally the physical and psychosocial state we find ourselves in, coupled with a quest for happiness in this otherwise dystopian world. Philosophers have grappled with the question of happiness since the ancient times, when Plato, in his work The Republic, devised his vision of an utopia based on justice, whereas Nietzsche offers us a nihilistic prognosis underpinned by a vision of absurdity, hopelessness, and futility. Others who have written extensively on the subject include Hanna Arendt. The Human Condition was the title of a book on political philosophy, and a personal favorite, which is Viktor Frankl's memoir, Man's Search for Meaning, published in 1946, chronicling his experiences as a prisoner in Nazi concentration camps during World War II. Sigmund Freud, in his work Civilization and Its Discontents, posits that individuals seek to escape suffering and find happiness in one of three areas of life. Firstly, they seek this happiness in aesthetic beauty, the idea that an architectural construct is beautiful and pleasing to the eye, or people spend hours at the Louvre in Paris admiring the Mona Lisa. The idea that you read a beautiful novel, a beautiful piece of literature, all speaks to the happiness we derive from aesthetic beauty. The second area we seek to find this happiness is in human relationships. The idea that I'm loved, that I'm affirmed, and that I'm cared for by family, by friends, by a lover. Or thirdly, we try and find this happiness in the use or abuse of narcotic substances, the use of alcohol and narcotics to get high or to numb pain. It is in this quest for happiness that individuals often grapple with questions of identity, meaning, and a sense of alienation. Sadly, they often lose themselves, making wrong choices which are bad for them socially, psychologically, and above all spiritually when dealing with the vicissitudes of life. Socially, we seek to address and improve the human condition, amongst others, through taking up the fight for social justice and our political and social activism, through charitable work and solidarity with the disadvantaged, through advances we make in the medical sciences, and through philosophical inquiry and reasoning of what constitutes the good life, or for example, Heidegger's Dasein, meaning the type of being that humans possess and being in the world, which are unitary concepts of existence in contrast with the subject-object view of the Cartesian rationalist philosophy of René Descartes. Nevertheless, none of these resolve our elusive quest for ultimate happiness and peace, since we are continually engaged in a struggle for meaning, trying to make sense of the reason for our being. As Christians, we believe that hopelessness and meaninglessness is the result of our separation from God due to the original sin of Adam and Eve, who through their free will disobeyed God and ushered sin into the world. The consequence of sin is death and separation from God, and as such, our condition, our human condition, is one of sinfulness and unrighteousness. Therefore, we can never be truly happy unless we are reconciled with our Creator through Yeshua. It is Yeshua and Yeshua alone who resolves the question of the human condition and sin, and shows us love, who gives us hope, gives our lives meaning, and who reconciles us with Abba Elohim, our Heavenly Father, creator of all things seen and unseen. Approximately 700 years before Yeshua walked the earth, Isaiah in chapter 53 foretold Yeshua as follows: "He is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows, and acquainted with grief, and we hid, as it were, our faces from him. He was despised, and we esteemed him not. Surely he hath borne our griefs and carried our sorrows, yet we did esteem him stricken, smitten of God, and afflicted. But he was wounded for our transgressions, he was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed. All we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned everyone his own way. And the Lord hath laid on him the iniquity of us all. He was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. He is brought as a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before the shearers is dumb, so he opened not his mouth. He was taken from prison and from judgment. And who shall declare his generation? For he was cut off out of the land of the living. For the transgression of my people was he stricken. And he made his grave with the wicked, and with the rich his death, because he hath done no violence, neither was any deceit in his mouth. Yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him. He will be put to grief. His soul will be made an offering for sin. He shall see his seed, he shall prolong his days, and the pleasure of the Lord shall prosper in his hand. He shall see of the travail of his soul, and shall be satisfied by his knowledge, that my righteous servant justify many, for he shall bear their iniquities. Therefore I will divide him a portion with the great, and he shall divide the spoil with the strong, because he hath poured out his soul unto death, and he was numbered with the transgressors, and bare the sin of many, and made intercession for the transgressors. Yeshua himself had this to say, These things I have spoken unto you, that you might have peace. In the world you shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. He also said that I have come that you may have life and that you may have it more abundantly. I encourage you to look to Yeshua, turn to Yeshua, follow Yeshua, and you will have peace for your soul and you will have life abundantly. Stay blessed. Shabbat Shalom.